Now, the last reader before I read is LinDel Sandlin. Now, I haven't seen LinDel. I don't know where she is. She might have to appear out of the ether. I saw her card on my...
She's here.
Okay. I assume she's here. So I'm going to introduce her. But LinDel has magical ways, so she might just appear out of the ether. I don't know. LinDel began... Oh, wait. I have another introduction for her. Yeah, LinDel sent me this morning. So this is another. She said, "Dearest San Bernardino," me. She wants me to read this bio. LinDel is a recovering Southern Baptist. She writes poetry on topics exploring Mother Nature, politics, religion, dream time, and misadventures in love. LinDel comes from a theater background where she has been an actor, singer, director, producer, and prop mistress. These days, she is a Zen Taoist shaman, who is searching for a dragon to teach her how to write more dragon songs. LinDel is honored to have her first poem published in Patricia Carrigon's Brownstone Poets 2016 anthology, which is now on Amazon. You can also check out some of her work on her YouTube channel, by searching LinDel Poetry. In this evening's performance, she would like to acknowledge the composer and lyricist of Les Miserables, Schoenberg, Bouleville, Natel, and Kretzmer, as well as Catherine Lee Bates and Samuel L. Ward for America the Beautiful. LinDel calls her portion of the evening, "Lest We Forget." I'm honored to present LinDel Sandlin.
Spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty, above a fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. America's Beatitudes. In walls we trust. Once upon a time, about 500 years or so ago, European immigrants arrived with their king's flags unfurled. They came seeking to live as free people in what they deemed the New World. When they landed, they found no walls, not a single one. Everyone here lived free, 'neath the spacious skies and sun. When the residents of these lands, who lived as one with beast and bird, made peace treaties with other tribes for their children's sake, they kept their word. They needed no walls, none between their nations, for they honored Mother Earth and those they called all our relations. White illegal aliens came seeking asylum, so they said, from religious persecution, yet many natives who did not convert to the Christian God met a violent execution. The Christ who said upon the mount, "Yea, blessed are the peacemakers," instead seems to have spawned wall-building soul breakers. Blessed are the merciful, the Lord's holy book proclaimed, yet Catholic priest ordered thousands of Aztecs in a single day to be killed or maimed. Oh, the priests could have built a wall from Mexican people's remains. For in the name of the most merciful Christ, bishops drained even children's veins. In waves and waves, still they came, French, Spanish, English immigrants. Not asking, they simply took over tribal lands and stole our red brothers' inheritance. You who once were told to be pure in heart, did you lose Christ's blessed call? For it seems to justify the means around your heart, you built a stone wall. In the race to avoid the admonition to hunger and thirst after righteousness, our founding fathers trafficked in African people, adding more hypocrisy to the whole greedy mess. From the woeful walls of slave ships to America's crowded concrete block, black mothers have long carried the cry, our children's lives matter, we are not livestock. Woo! As for the meek inheriting the earth, I do not think it came to pass. When Americans flooded west to claim their destiny manifest, they left behind vast herds of buffalo rotting on blood-stained grass. When will our ego ever learn, dear citizens, the more walls we erect to keep out the other, the more we trap ourselves inside until our frightened souls we smother. And here we stand today, descendants of immigrants are we all. Many among us in fear and loathing are lifting up their voices to call, we have to protect America's freedom around our beautiful land, build a great wall. No, I say, fellow Americans, no. Let us build no more walls along our fruited plain. Instead, let us open our hearts, tear down our walls, and live in the land of the free again. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Bernard, for your patience and your lovely intro, which I wrote, but thank you. I would like to read a quote of a speech from the French National Convention. If virtue be the spring of a popular government in times of peace, the spring of that government during a revolution is virtue combined with terror. Virtue, without which terror is destructive. Terror, without which virtue is impotent. Terror is only just as prompt, severe, and inflexible. It is then an emanation of virtue. It is less a distinct principle than a natural consequence of the general principle of democracy applied to the most pressing wants of the country. February 5th, 1794, Maximilien François Marie Isidore de Robespierre. Robespierre has lost his head, yet Robespierre is not dead. His headless soul still roams the land he fought to save. The revolution he began sent 40,000 Frenchmen to their grave. Still head in hand, his tortured soul, his soul doth live in error. His guillotine's gruesome toll did bring, and is still called, the Reign of Terror. Robespierre has lost his head, but Robespierre is not dead. He and French revolutionists fought cruel aristocracy. Aristocrats they forthwith dispatched Saint's head. The birth of French democracy sprang from blades that shed rivers red. Those fearsome blades, those blades that struck such terror in men's hearts, somehow became great sport in that era to watch royal heads roll round in carts. At last, Robespierre too lost his head. But no, Robespierre is not dead. No, his headless soul did not lay calm in French esteem. For soon in colonial Vietnam arrived the dreaded guillotine. The guillotine the French did use to squelch rebellious Viet Cong. Rebels who simply fought abuse from imperialists who did not belong. Oh, Robespierre has lost his head. But no, Robespierre is not dead. Today returns his headless form, shaking an impassioned fist, warning us that a vengeful people storm turn revolutionaries into terrorists. Robespierre has lost his head. Yet Robespierre is not dead. Robespierre has lost his head, but Robespierre is not dead. Robespierre a perdu la tête. Mais non. Robespierre n'est pas mort. It's a bit of a ghost story, and we have a headless thing now going, so thank you. But I wrote it in response to what was happening in France and recently, and I thought that's really terrible. And then I thought, but yeah, you know, lest we forget. All right. Okay, I'll just skip the song. I was going to do a dramatic song, and I lost my moment. But okay, I can edit it out. Do you hear the people singing the songs of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart matches the beating of the drums, there's a new life about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you join in our crusade so that our banner can advance? Where some will fall and some will live, will you stand up and take the chance? The blood of the martyrs will water the meadows of France. Do you hear the people singing the songs of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart matches the beating of the drums, there's a new life about to start when tomorrow comes. Revolution, well, you know, we all want to save the world, so wake up and smell it. What happened to that revolution the Beatles sang about? When will the wind blow in the answers and get our feet back to the garden again, my friend? So many stirring songs once wafted around. Where did that hopefulness go? Was it shot down with Kennedy and King? Was it numbed out in our 80s pursuit of happiness? Perhaps further dumbed down by our smartphones? Maybe, just maybe, those old protest songs were seeds of change sown by the great celestial poet, tossed out in psychedelic randomness, left to see which ideas and dreams of a better world would take root. In those gestating decades of humanity's collective dark night of the soul, maybe things had to putrefy enough so we could all smell the stench of the decaying constructs of Homo sapiens. Smell the stench. Smell that stench until it curls up through our nostrils into the center of our brain, past our overtaxed amygdala, to knock at the neocortex of our soul and wake us up so we can all usher in a new era. So smell the stench. Smell the stench, people! Smell the stench of crumbling systems that no longer serve the public good. Government, gridlock, corporate greed, Wall Street hedging against hedges, speculating with Grandpa's pension both for and against banks that are too big not to bail out. Smell the stench! Smell it! Smell the stench of hybridized Franken wheat and Monsanto modified corn-like substance that allows Bayer to sell farmers more pesticides, which makes the delicate flora of our gut launch our immune system into full-scale internal attack, sending us to the feeding troughs of Bayer, who happens to sell painkillers. Smell the stench! Smell the stench. Smell the stench, America. We who have not a healthcare system, but rather a sick maintenance system.
Thank you.
Rendering giant pharmaceutical companies a steady supply of laboratory rats. Customers. Patients. Oh, wait. You smell that? Oh, smell it. It's Americans paying twice as much. No, wait. No, that's 20 times more than the rest of the world for the exact same drug. Smell that stench. Smell it. Smell the She laid an egg, thank you. As we stand chest deep in the malodorous muck of our own creation, there are those of us who cry out in despair, oh, what's the use? What good does it do to say anything about it anyway? Verily I say unto thee, who but the poets and musicians and artists can sound out the clarion call to wake up our brothers and sisters. For once we are able to stop our mass denial, fully smell the stench, then something else can arise. Another fragrance begins to register. Can you smell it? I think it's the smell of spring buds just opening. A fragrance ephemeral, but it is there. Oh, that great celestial poet did not toss out his psychedelic seeds in vain. Those earnest seeds of yesteryear needed time to take hold in the luminous belly of Mother Earth. Smell the blossoms of massive magnolias, fragrant pines, redwoods, countless others who have grown steadily stronger on the multi-dimensional plane. When ego has finally overextended itself and modern man's systems utterly fail, the crystal tree people await us in a brighter world. But it is we who must take the leap into the unknown. So speak up, all you poet shamans and musician visionaries and artist light workers, speak up. Show us how to reach through the wall and grab the incandescent branches and take a quantum leap forward into the evolution of the hominus luminous. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bernard, for having me back.